Hi, Gayle King.
Yeah, hi Carla.
Hi, and you're another professional arts therapist, is that right?
Yes, I'm a professional arts therapist in Brisbane, Queensland. Work
Yeah,
around southeast Queensland.
yeah, great. And Gayle, which organisation do you work for or have worked for in the past?
Okay, so there's been a variety. I'm currently working for myself, private practice. I do take NDIS clients, and in the past, I've worked extensively in schools as an arts therapist, in particular with refugees and or young people from refugee and asylum seeker background,
Yeah,
and young people with trauma.
yeah, okay. And so working in that way, you would definitely be classed as a mental health practitioner.
Yeah, well, I guess I class myself as that, and there is this grey area where do we fall, and how can we be classified? The school that I was in really valued a multidisciplinary team of people to support their young people,
Mm,
and so I would work in conjunction with other people, but I was permanent there on site a few days a week, so that meant I was always available for young people when they were having a moment of crisis or something had arrived and they needed some support for that. It was also a safe haven in the school, and it also contributed to the school's culture around creativity and mental health, that there was
mm,
this openness about, good to support young people with their mental
mm.
health.
So what you've just said is a fantastic example of how arts therapists could be of real value in schools.
Absolutely, yeah. And I work a lot with other people who are arts therapists in schools. We're very interested in looking at research as time goes on as to why it works.
Mm.
Some of those people are already doing research in that area. And I'm also an educator and academic in the field of arts therapy. So a lot of my students go out into schools and work in schools as part of their placement, and are greatly valued when they go into schools as well. So I guess I see a broad ways of people working in this way in schools, but it's always a tricky way to get in. It's like, how do we get into the schools? How do the principals view us when we get into schools? What do we fit under? How do they fund us so that we can be there? And that's, I think, having a mental health practitioner label would place us really well to work with those other multidisciplinary teams that are already in schools, so we can support young people, and especially in a way that young people can relate to. Like, young people often don't have the language, especially people from other countries, or people with trauma may not have language
Mm.
for making sense of things. So talk therapy may not work for them. And arts therapy allows them a safe place to enter into exploring their stories and making sense of it, and building their own identity, or a new identity in a new country.
Mm.
Mm.
They're really relevant examples. Thank you. So, if you could sum up why this particular petition is so important, what would you say?
Um, I think it's timely. I think research now shows us, especially around trauma, that research in trauma now tells us that the approach for working with people who have significant things happening in their lives, and that particularly if it's happened early in their life, complex PTSD, that that talk therapy may not be as helpful, but um, therapies that provide experience and that allow the people to be safe and, I guess, find a language for what they're trying to express. And the arts therapy allows that, because it's very broad. It's not just drawing, it's painting, it's clay. For me, it's drama, it's dance, it's music, it's poetry. It's all sorts of things that young people can find a voice for. And it also can then spread out into the whole school culture and provide a school culture that supports people holistically, or as whole people.
You've expressed that so beautifully, Gayle. Thank you so much for making the time to talk to us. And I know you have to go back to work now. So,
I do. Thank you. Thanks.
have a great day.
I'm great that we're moving on this, because I think it's a really important issue. And there's lots of really professional arts therapists out there that can really help people.
Thanks. Fantastic. Thanks,
Okay,
Gayle.
Carla.
Thanks.
I'll better
Bye.
pop off now. Bye.